and welcome to this episode of the Excalibur podcast, hosted by me, Kyle Brooks. Today we have an esteemed guest, Katarina Nikolic. She is from Serbia. She is one of my colleagues at Omron and is probably one of the most phenomenal women that I've ever come into contact with. Exceptionally confident and knows exactly how to get things done in work as well as in her sports and social life. Welcome, Katarina.
Hi, Kyle. Thank you for that introduction. Appreciate it.
Of
Great being
course.
here.
Of course, of course. How's your day been so far? I know that you've went to church. You know, you still have those
Yeah,
familiar, what's it called, values that are instilled into you. Doing pretty well today?
yeah, pretty good. I as much as possible. Work and traveling, seeing family, friends, and all these people around US. That's kind of priority, right?
Yeah.
So I try to go as much as possible, and it's the only Serbian church here in kind of Twin Cities area.
Hmm.
Um, so it's nice. It's nice being submerged in your culture when you're far away from home. I'm sure you know that.
Definitely, definitely. Which is
Um,
probably one of the topics of discussion today. We actually wanted to find or explore the disparities between your home culture and masculine energy from your home city and home country compared to what you are experiencing over here. I know that there is a vast differentiation between, how can I put this very politically correct? I think it's the weakness found here compared to back from home, right?
yeah, yeah. And I've probably seen it from the moment I came here,
Hmm.
how a lot of even Eastern European women, like I would compare myself to people here and I'll be like, oh, I have so much masculine energy.
Right.
And my masculine energy just gets amplified over here. Whereas home, it wasn't feeling that much.
Hmm.
I personally always had it,
Yeah.
but it wasn't, as I said, that high up. And as soon as I came here, I kind of went into that energy more and more. And I was like, oh, okay, let me back up a little. This sounds like I'm just masculine. That's it. So it's been definitely an experience.
Mhm.
I love observing people a lot to see kind of psychology of the nation that you come to, right? You
Yes.
have to so you can adapt. Um, and that was a big part of it. It still is like
Right.
adaptation period,
Hmm.
definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because when there's a need for a woman to step into that masculine energy, obviously that's going to happen, right? There's a clear indication that need equals results, and that's what you've had to do.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You coming from Serbia, you definitely are already in a masculine energy per se because you guys are the culture there is a lot stronger than it is over here. For
Yeah.
example, you guys will do things outdoors on a regular basis. You're going to be in competition with all of your family members, and there's always
Exactly.
this pecking order that you're trying to rise up to. But when
Yeah.
you came here, it was kind of like you're already being put into the alpha state, and it's not something that you want to embrace. It's obviously something that you can, but
Yeah.
it puts you in a state of you having to make all the decisions all the time, you having to kind of be wary. Whereas if you had somebody that was in that masculine role, then technically that takes a lot of the stresses off for you, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. It's the fact that, and I've seen that a lot of women going through this, especially me. I'm like, I'm in my 20s. I'm still young. I'm single. And then on top of that, I'm like, I don't need anyone. Like I
Right.
have that level of masculine energy
Hmm.
that I figured everything on my own so far. So there's no need, right? There's always that like want.
Right.
Because as you said, for a woman to step out of her, if she's doing 9 to 5 masculine energy, for me, I need to come back home to somebody who has more so I can step into my feminine,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely a process. It's funny how probably roles are reversed currently, like I have been living with that, just masculine energy this whole time.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to step into my feminine energy and learning how to, which
Yes.
I know a lot of the viewers of this podcast are probably guys that are trying to step more and more into that masculine energy. So it's very flipped, and I see a resemblance in that
Hmm.
too.
Definitely.
It's like what you need by your side.
Right. And from your perspective, can you tell us like what frames that for you? What is it that gives you that sense of security? What is it that would help you to be able to step into that? Because we want people to understand, firstly, what are the results on the other side of that? Like, what is it that gives you the ability to do, but also gives the man the ability to do, right? Because there's been this
Yeah.
discrepancy where men and women are supposed to be equal. But I disagree with that because we have our own strengths and weaknesses. It's kind of like a football team or a soccer team. Everybody has
Yeah.
their own position and everybody has their ability to play to make their team win. But
Mhm.
people have to
Yeah.
look at it from the perspective of rather viewing this as you have strengths, I have strengths. How can we collaborate to win together? So
Yeah.
again, coming to the story, how does framing this from your perspective, firstly, hinder what you are looking at right now, and how can it benefit you, and how do you think that men are supposed to behave and act to be able to put you into that feminine role?
Yeah. Well, exactly what you said. I think it's a big topic.
Hmm.
Men and women being equal. And I feel like people are misunderstanding that to the point where it's like, oh, equality in absolutely everything. I think women have been fighting definitely for a lot longer than I've been alive for that equal opportunity.
Hmm.
But I think people are misunderstanding that in a lot, in the sense of, women being capable to have every part of a masculine thing and provide and do all these things. I think that's okay. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And women these days, I think we're very lucky that we were born in this time where we can, make money, provide for family, do all these things and have hobbies and travel and vote and do everything that we want to do.
Yes.
But I feel like, and I'm talking in my experience, the
Yeah.
more that I push
Hmm.
women, the more that I push to provide and travel and do all these things that I want to do. I
Yeah.
have ability to do that, and
Hmm.
I'm grateful for it. But at the end of the day, I wanna be able to be emotional in certain points and not be like, okay, I can't cry, I can't do anything. Like I gotta be strong because I'm doing everything on my own. I want to be able to, before marriage and before everything comes, work on that too, right? Like I have been, and with masculine energy, the big thing is kind of not necessarily pushing your emotions away,
Right.
but there is a certain way of balancing those emotions,
Hmm.
opposed to tapping into the feminine energy where you work on those emotions a
Okay.
lot more, right? And I feel like for the future relationship that I would go into, the number one thing that I'm currently looking for is somebody that would allow me to tap into that feminine energy uh, by, being there. But that's not necessarily like, I feel like it's a lot of confusion in what it means for somebody to take care of you. I feel like it's very different, and men and women do have ability to provide different things. I know that men process emotions differently than women do. That's a known fact. And for a man to be vulnerable, he has to have a very much developed woman that is okay with that, that is fine with seeing that type of emotion that she is never going to experience. It's very different. The weight on a man in a society is completely different, and it's vice versa. For woman to be secure, she has to have somebody that provides that security. I know for me, if I feel like you can't take my emotions, I'm never gonna unload them on you. If I feel like there is a level of misunderstanding and you're gonna call me, I don't know, too much, or when I unload my emotion, which for a woman it does feel like that. Like you're married, you know that in that situation, it's like for a woman, women show their emotions and they show them
Yes.
all the way. And it's sometimes so much that you have to be very, up there when it comes to the security level
Mm-hmm.
to be able to take that.
And during those times, it comes across of the perspective that you really, all they want you to do is to listen. And you don't have to solve the problem, right? That's one of the things that
Exactly.
I've had to learn this year is, or over the past couple of years, is just listen to them, understand what they're going through, or try to understand what they're going through, and then be that sounding board. You know what? Everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish anyone can point out, and I'll listen. If you can point out a woman that likes to have a man tell her what to do, I'll I'll listen. I want to meet that woman, but I don't think that's possible. And I don't think you're gonna find that ever. So I know that, and it's a lot, it's people altogether, right? Like
Yeah.
a lot of us, both men and women, like we just want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And it is tough because you got to find your person that's going to know what you need at that point. And the biggest clash with that is the fact that we all want to be heard, but we all want to give our opinion, right?
Yes.
So knowing that, you have to find that person that's what you said, your security, somebody that's just going to be like, okay, this is her time,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what she needs right now to unload all these emotions. And I think it's beautiful. It is what it is. And I'm here for her.
Right.
And there's not necessarily you should have done this, you should have done that. It's more like, I hear you, babe. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here.
Right.
So it's interesting to say the least how
It's a
everything works. But yeah.
it's enjoying the roller coaster, right? It's a roller
Yeah.
coaster. They're going to go through ups and downs, and you just have to be there to be able to ride it out with them. And at the end of the day, be like the safety and security in that circumstance. Because when you're on a roller coaster, you are safe. You've got those straps on, and essentially you're that person for them to hold their hand through it and go through that journey with them. And when they're on
Yeah.
the other side, just be like, okay, well, now do you want me to do anything about this or not? If you don't, if you just want me to listen to you, that's okay. But I think
Yeah.
from the standpoint of setting those up, you said it, you should find your person, but it took time for myself and my wife to actually come to that understanding.
Yeah.
We had to go,
Yeah.
when you're in this situation, what is it that you want me to do? And that varies because obviously a woman can have like 10,000 different emotions in a second, and we will never
Yeah.
understand that. Me, I've got like three emotions that I go through on a daily basis. So that's me
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
I,
yeah.
I, that communication, what you said, yeah,
Hmm.
like biggest part of it. It's like asking questions, right?
Asking questions and listening to what needs to be really understood. Because we've had lots of conversations, my wife and I, and we've figured out that there's a lot of fluff language in there. Like there was a study that said most men, I think, speak about 4 to 5 thousand words a day, and a woman will speak over 10,000 words a day. So you have to really listen to what it is that they are truly trying to tell you, or just ask straight up and be like, in these situations, what is that you would like me to do? Here's scenario one, here's scenario two, here's scenario three. That way you have a strategy going into this and you've already got this predetermined plan. And then if something doesn't work according to that plan, you have the ability to be tactical and flexible and adapt to it.
Yeah.
But if you don't plan, if you fail to plan, you prepare to fail. Full stop.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we all I think we all make mistakes. And I know that like I'm no different in past relationships. I've made mistakes of not listening
Mhm.
and not fully being engaged in fixing the issues, you know. And that is definitely something where um, you know, both men and women have to work on to
Precisely.
get to that common goal, which is a communication and getting to that what I said, like the your person
Mhm.
level, everything that period has to go through mistakes, figuring out, speaking to get to that level. It's like, okay, now we're here. Now we understand each other. Now we can help each other grow up.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You fail your way to success.
Yeah. We have touched on this a lot
Yeah,
on every conversation.
exactly. I love
Yeah.
failure. Failure defines you.
That's a fact. Yes.
You don't learn anything from winning, which comes back to your sport of volleyball, right? It's
Yeah.
the losses that stand out the most, and those are the ones that sting, but they also teach you how to progress as a person, but also how to pick yourself back up and then carry on forward.
Yeah. And I think if there is one thing that I am grateful for to sport is learning how to lose,
Right.
being comfortable with losing because I wasn't.
Hmm.
As a kid, I was, you know, I was angry every single time I lost. I was just like ready to fight. I didn't care. And volleyball is definitely one of the sports. And I know a lot of the other sports, I played soccer, but a lot of the other sports teach this. But for me, it was volleyball where I actually grew as a person. And I was like, okay, not a loss, a lesson.
Right.
And I
Yes.
was not necessarily looking forward to the next one. It was, I'm going to train to win every single time, but it's not going to happen. It's
Hmm.
impossible.
Hmm.
Can't really win all the time, especially not in sports. So now that helps me a lot in my career, where it's, you know what, I'm going to make mistakes. I know it. I stress a lot more than I should. But when it comes to failure, you make mistakes. It's simple as that. And it's going to happen, and you just have to pick yourself up.
Yes.
There's no philosophy that goes behind it. It's like, it's life.
Right.
Just get back on track, and it's as simple as that.
Life is challenge after challenge after challenge, and then there's an occasional crisis, and then it's back to challenges. That,
Yeah.
and if you don't have that, imagine you didn't have that. Life would just be a plateau. Would you truly want to be living if it was just a plateau? It's boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we digressed a little bit. Bringing us
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Let's tie the bow on this and bring it back
Mm-hmm.
to the end. So, what are about three different pieces of advice or tips that you can give to men to really step out of their comfort zone and kind of embrace their masculinity and truly treat a woman in a way that's going to help her to embrace that femininity.
I would say the main one is listen,
Okay.
definitely. Just listen to her. She, a lot of women, just what I said prior to this, it's, we don't want to be told what to do, especially when we're angry.
Hmm.
We don't even think with our own head. At that point, if you hear a woman being pissed and blabbing, none of us, I don't think I can speak for everyone, right? But like most of the women are like, I really, you're gonna add salt to the wound and tell me, oh, you should have done this and you should have done that. And maybe if you were
Wow.
acting more serious, don't, it's like, let her speak her mind. And I think like listening is the main thing.
Okay.
And listening, I would say, like, women, just when we're vulnerable, we give information. We give
Hmm.
so much information of this is how I feel in that situation. That's how I'm going to be feeling in that situation
Hmm.
for a lot of time. I would say that um, the notion of equality is something the women want, but and I'm telling you this, it's not about finances. I do think it's about and I'm not speaking for all women because you have to find a quality woman too.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is, I'm talking about a woman that works on herself. Um, Finances have nothing to do with it. The woman that wants to succeed in her life in certain ways and be a full human being before she meets a guy. I think um, the the notion of Eastern Europeans, where, and here's a story. I growing up, even now over here, there's a certain way of men, Eastern European men, still caring for women. Doesn't matter if it's a girlfriend, doesn't matter if it's a friend, doesn't matter what it is. It's always picking up a bill, opening doors, having those gentleman-like abilities
Hmm.
that for them, and I've seen this clashing a lot what we talked about in America. In America, I feel like a lot of the guys are, oh, woman has to deserve it. I'm like, I don't think that's on the woman.
Right.
I think that's on you to act and have that as a muscle memory,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, to open doors, to be a gentleman, to be somebody that's going to take care of the situation.
Right.
So you can practice on yourself. And
Right.
a lot of women like that.
Hmm.
But for Eastern European women, for example, that's a bare minimum.
Right.
And for the future, I know if I think basically the third one would be to, in the future, I'm looking for a husband, right?
Hmm.
And not just husband, I'm looking for somebody that's gonna respect me,
Hmm.
that's gonna take care of me, and I can work. And knowing myself, I'll probably work my whole life. But at some point, I want to be a mother. And for me to be a mother, I have to have somebody helping me, bringing into, a little wolf pack, if you want to call it. I
Yeah.
need somebody providing for that. So I'm able to not neglect my children, to teach them the right ways, to be around the house, to not have to travel myself and do everything.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of these things. And I think another advice that I would say is that I this has helped me and this keeps helping me. Um, but it's on both sides, men and women, to write down the list of all the things that you want in your partner and then be that list. I think that has been a game changer, especially this year. As I was like, okay, I feel like I have reached the level of figuring everything out in life. Now I want to share this with somebody as I grow. And as soon as I done that, I was like, okay, let me write a list. And I talked to my coach about this stuff, and she was like, write a list, do whatever you want, list of how you want to be as a partner, list of who you want as a partner. And then I was like, it's very much similar. And I was
Okay.
like, hold on. I want all these things in a husband, but I can't be that wife. Let me tap into this list, right?
Mm.
So I feel like for a lot of men that would help. It's like, oh, I need a wife that's going to be caring and probably listening and being there for me and support me and everything. Okay, be a husband that's going to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Respect her. Don't cheat. Don't, run around doing your own thing and partying and drinking and doing all these things,
Mm.
and then have a wife at home taking care of everything, making it a home.
Right.
So that respect, definitely. I think respect is the first thing for everything.
Yes.
Respect woman.
You said that twice, or in
Yep.
number three and number four. So let me
Yep.
recap this, right? So number one is listen. Listen to what the woman's saying because she has sufficient information that is going to tell you how she wants you to respond in particular situations.
Yeah.
Number two was the bare minimum, opening doors, treating a woman with, again, with respect. But with regard to that with that number two, you said something that really got me thinking. You said that men over here said that the woman needs to deserve that, to be treated that way. That's the wrong way of thinking of things. So you're allowing somebody else to change how you interact with them. That means they have power over you. From my perspective, you should be who you are regardless of anything else and other people's behavior. which gives you authenticity to truly be who you are. Number three, you said was respect, and then be able to take care of the things that truly take care of the woman, because you're going to be, the woman wants to eventually get a husband and then get a family, the wolf pack type of mentality. And then you gave 25% more, which is amazing. The last part was the also coming back into respect, but also looking at things from the perspective of how it is that you guys can work together.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a partnership, and that's what we're all looking for. I think that's the equal part, equal amount of working on yourself. Because if I'm working on myself 100% and trying to be a better person before I'm a wife and mother, I expect my husband somewhere out there, hopefully, just working on himself right now. And that's that equality where we are able to do that. But in certain situations, because we were created the way we were created, we're going to have different roles.
Right.
And for us to come together, we're going to have to put the equal amount of energy and effort for that to succeed. But roles are different, and they're always going to be different. Precisely. You're never going to bear children, and you're never going to know how it is, but I'm never going to know how it is to be a man in society.
Yeah.
And I hang out with a lot of men when it comes to work. Like it's mostly engineers, it's mostly, male dominated field. I have had a lot of guys as friends and still do. And when I hear their struggles, I'm like,
I don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
I don't want to. It's a pressure that I know women are never going to understand. And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate guys taking that role in society, but I also know that men that have that ability also appreciate women in society and their roles.
Precisely. And then the final thing I think that you mentioned was write a list. Write a list of the qualities that you want to have in your partner, and be that list. And that way you know exactly what you're getting. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. Like for me, some of the things were like, oh, somebody that has daily discipline, goes to the gym and stuff like that. Not necessarily like body type. It's more like discipline. And then I read that list and I was like, hold on. For the past year, what have you been doing? And it's a wake-up call. And I'm not kidding. It's the best wake-up call where you're like, you attract what you put out there. I do truly believe that that's a thing. And if I put out there Netflix binge watching and chips eating energy, those are the guys that are gonna text, right? Like there's no in between.
You're not gonna find that gym bunny woman that is going to the gym all the time if you are sitting around on the couch eating pizza all day. Let's be honest, guys.
How are you gonna meet her?
Yeah, you attract who you are, and you're more than likely gonna find that woman at the gym. And don't be the creep that goes up there and tries to. No. That's not what you do. Just be like, first pump, hey, what's up, and kind of develop the relationship that way. Don't be a creep. I'm telling you guys straight up.
No, this for all the guys that are watching this. Again, woman does not want to be told what to do.
Right.
She's going to find a trainer that's going to help her with her, movements and what she has to do in the gym. But there's ways, of course. And there's ways of meeting. And some of my best friends met their wives now in the gym.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine that met his wife in the gym, and amazing story. And I'm like, this is wonderful, because you found that really good thing, which is discipline that is in common.
No woman wakes up and says that I don't want to meet the man of my dreams today. Let's be honest. And it can happen at any given time. However, you have to first be that man. You have to embrace the fact that you have to be disciplined and on a mission. If you look at all the Disney stories out there, all the guys are always on their mission. They're doing something and they meet the woman along the way. That story
Yeah,
has created this perception in a woman's mind that she wants to meet a man on his mission. And don't be distracted from your mission when you meet that woman. Still carry on with it. She'll support you along the way. That's the main thing. Because as soon as you start to
yeah,
compromise on that, that's when they start to lose interest. That's when they go, okay, well, this guy is full of shit. He doesn't actually follow what he's saying, and he will give up whatever it is for me, which means that when another woman comes along, he'll do the same thing.
exactly. Yeah. No, I like that a lot. It's I feel like women are the same way. It's like, oh, I stay complacent when I'm in a relationship. No,
No,
your woman should be a complement in your life. You,
precisely.
you should go your separate ways, meet, and then continue growing.
Exactly.
Because if you're not, then are you respecting each other, respecting yourself? Just it doesn't work that way, right?
And respecting
And
the most important reason that you've been sent here. You have a God ordained message to deliver. You, out of nearly 8 billion people, are unique. And if you don't deliver that, then the world is less of a place.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I
Exactly.
didn't mean to distract or interrupt you there.
No, 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 no. That's wonderful. I love that message. I think I've heard this quote and it's been for the last maybe month or two in my head constantly every single day. But I heard it and it goes something in the lines of be so obsessed with self-improvement that you have no time to judge others.
Beautiful.
And it really hit me where I was like, I'm not busy enough.
Mm,
I'm truly not busy enough. If I have time to judge what kind of a person someone is, what kind of, if they're performing in their position in a company the way that I thought it should be, right? It's like, that's not what are you doing thinking about stuff like that? Then it's like, I have a lot of time on my hands. So I
yeah.
start being busy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to self improve to
Mhm.
the point where I just can't judge. It's
Mm.
not my place to judge. So yeah,
That's beautiful. I think that's amazing because at the end of the day, when you're focused on yourself and improving yourself, you don't have that time for, like you said, for judging other people, but also you get to see their behavior as data instead of assigning value to it. Be like, okay, well, this person did this, this, and this. What is the outcome that they're trying to do? And you get curious as to why they're doing certain things. And that puts you in a place to be in the driver's seat and rather understand behavior, separating it from your feelings, and you get to make decisions based on that. And the decisions that are made on that without the emotion are usually the best made decisions.
slicing. Yeah.
Well, Katarina, thank you so much for today. When are
Yeah,
you
thank
starting
you.
your podcast? We need to tell these viewers to
I knew
sign
I
into it.
knew this was I knew this was coming. It has to be a public announcement, right?
Yes.
Well, I have been thinking of it, so unfortunately, I don't have a date for you.
Okay,
I'm gonna be next couple of weeks wrapping up work when it comes to this year
cool.
and traveling back home.
Okay.
And this is on the list in January. So we're gonna talk back, but I've been listening some names and stuff and everything. And this is exciting. I mean, this is my first time ever doing something like this.
Beautiful.
And I think it's pretty cool to just get your opinion out there and see like-minded people and what it is they want to hear
Mm.
from all of this. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it. This is a promise, public promise. But it's gonna come in a 2025
Awesome.
early
Awesome.
stages of the year. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a handle or social media that you would like people to tune into you for, or anything along those lines? Do you have like a public forum like Instagram that is basically going to be allocated to that? If you do, let us know and we'll post it in the actual video or post it in the
Sounds
link to the
good.
video and we'll have people follow you.
Yeah, I'll let you know
Awesome.
off of this. Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We hope that you had a fantastic time. You know where to find us. You can find us on Excalibur Coaching on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as well as on YouTube. I hope that you guys have a fantastic day further.